Archery, Mind, Body, and Soul, presented by Mary Kineski. Archery is letting go with a beginner's mind. I am speaking today to show the audience how interesting archery can be, including its history, how it evolved into a sport, its calming effect, and the proper equipment. I used 3 different articles from the internet for facts on history, becoming a sport, the equipment, and I will also speak on my own personal experiences with archery and its effects on me. Archery is more than a sport. It can be a way for some to put food on the table and get in touch with oneself and nature. I will be speaking today on archery's history, becoming a sport, my personal experiences, and using the proper equipment. The history of archery is very interesting, including the fact that it has no actual beginning. No one knows who or even when archery was created. However, according to the article The History of Archery, a look into the past that led to today's popular sport, Egyptians were known to be using bows and arrows as early as 5000 BC. Then around the 6th century, the Chinese introduced archery to Japan, which had a great influence on technique and etiquette. Some of the earliest Japanese martial arts was known as Kajitsu, which means the art of the bow. Now it is called Kodo, which means the way of the bow. Presently, modern Kodo is mainly practical as a method of moral, physical, and spiritual development. With Kodo, the archer has to perform a certain ritual movement before moving to a shooting line and shoots from a distance of 28 meters. Archery has continued to grow in popularity over time, and technology has improved the ways in which bows and arrows are shot. Archery's fascinating history became even more compelling once it became an Olympic sport. According to the article, Hunting Tactics to Olympic Sport, the first archery competition in modern times was held in Finsbury, England in 1583 with about 3,000 participants. In 1900s, archery became an Olympic sport and was among the first sport in which women were allowed to compete. Unfortunately, in the 1920s, Olympic archery was dropped from competition, but reinstated as an Olympic sport in 1972 Olympic Games in Germany. While I have never watched competitive archery in person or on TV, I did become interested in shooting bows and arrows at an early age. I originally thought it would be a fun activity to participate in, but began to realize it was more than shooting at targets. I began to realize how calm and at peace I felt while shooting my bow and arrows. I also realized I was more patient while shooting, and it transferred to my everyday life. I also enjoyed being out in nature while practicing my newfound craft. One of the most captivating things that I have learned about archery is the different equipment, especially all the different types of bows that can make an individual feel more comfortable while shooting. In the article, Archery for Beginners, the gear you'll need to get started. It, it discusses the necessity to have a bow and equipment that is comfortable for you. There are 4 different main types of bows. The first is the compound bow, which is mostly used for hunting. The second is the recurved bow, which is what I have. The last 2 bows are the longbow and the crossbow. The arrows have 3 parts: the tail, body, and arrowhead. The tail is what makes the arrow go straight and smooth. Other types of equipment is used for safety, such as a chest and arm guard. This equipment is used to protect these areas from the bowstring when it snaps back. Archery is for beginners, seasonal hunters, sportsmen, and those wanting to be close to nature. First and foremost, the history is fascinating. It is exciting to read about the evolution of the sport. The equipment is very interesting. And finally, the calming nature of archery is most engulfing to me. Archery is a type of therapy that relaxes the mind while being in nature. Thank you so much for listening and have an amazing day.